Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a very quick look at the card game For Sale. This game is for 3 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and the average play time is between 20 and 30 minutes. In this game, players will be collecting property and then selling that property in an attempt to earn as much cash as they can. Let's just take a quick moment to look at the components and see how the game is played. Now, as far as the components are concerned, you've got these blue property cards, and they range from 0 to 15,000. You've got these green property cards, which range from numbers 1 through 30. And you've got coins, the silver ones being worth 1,000 and the gold coins being worth 2,000. In For Sale, players will be trying to buy these property cards for as cheap as they can with the money that they start out with. And then once this deck runs out, players will then be trying to trade in those property cards for these currency cards. And obviously they're going to be trying to get the highest value possible. In essence, buy low, sell high. And the person with the most money at the end of the game wins. Now to set up the game, each player receives a certain amount of money, though the amount of money a person receives all depends on how many people are actually playing the game. In a 3-player game, for example, you've got each player receiving 2 gold coins and 14 of these silver ones. Now also, a number of cards are removed from both decks, again depending on how many people are playing the game. In a 3-player game, 6 cards are removed from the deck and just simply placed off to the side, never to be seen again. At the beginning of Phase 1, a number of cards will be drawn from this deck equal to the number of players actually playing the game. In this example, there are 3 people playing, so 3 cards are drawn. You've got a 28, 21, and a 23. Now, the starting player will go ahead and place a bid on these cards. Let's say that player 1 up here is the first player and decides to bid 1,000. Player 2 decides, okay, I'm going to up you on that, and the new bid always has to be higher than the previous one. Let's say that player 3 decides to bid 3. Player 4 decides to go ahead and up the bid to 4,000. Now, let's say that player 2 here decides that the 2,000 that he bid is enough. So he'll stop and pass. And what will end up happening at this point, he'll go ahead and take the lowest card. Half of his money will go to the bank, and the other half will be put back into his pile. Though he does get to keep this card for Phase 2 of the game. So we'll just put that over there. Now, player 1 and player 3 will bid back and forth for the others. It's player 3's bid at this point. So let's just go ahead and he'll go ahead and up that bid to 5,000. And let's say that player 1 decides to stop at this point. He would go ahead and receive the second highest card, which is the 23. That'll go into his pile for Phase 2, and half of that money will go to the bank, and half of that money will be returned to his pile. Player 3 wins the highest card. However, as a quote-unquote penalty, all of the money that he bid will go to the bank. He does not get any of it back. However, the card does go into his pile for Phase 2. Now, Phase 1 ends whenever the property deck runs out. Everyone should have an equal number of cards, since the same number of cards were drawn every round equal to the number of players. Everyone should get 1 card per round, and everyone should end up with the same number of cards at the end of it all. Now, Phase 2 involves these currency cards. They'll actually come into play at this point. What will happen is each player will have a hand of property cards, and they'll be able to pick up their pile and look at it and take note of the numbers that they managed to earn during Phase 1. And what will happen is, just like in Phase 1, cards will be drawn from this deck equal to the number of players in the game. If there's 3 players playing, then 3 of these currency cards come up. And what will happen at this point, each player will take a look at their deck and put down a number. Let's just say that this person decides to put down this 25 face down. This person decides to play this 12 face down, and player 1 decides to put this 28 face down. So what will end up happening at this point is they'll all be revealed at once. 25, 12, and 28. And the person with the highest number will receive the highest currency card on the table at the time. Since 28 is the highest number, player 1 will go ahead and receive this $12,000 currency card and put it into their score pile. Then player 2, let's see, actually player 3 has a 25, they have the second highest. So they would receive the $8,000 currency card, and that would go into their score pile. And finally, player 2 has this 12, and he would then earn the $3,000 currency card and put that into his score pile. And this will continue until all of the cards from their respective decks have been played and all of the currency cards have been earned. At the end of Phase 2, each player will have a stack of these blue currency cards. And all that will happen is they'll go ahead and add these up, and they'll also include any leftover money that they might have had from Phase 1. And whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins. And there you have it. That's just a very quick look at the game for sale. You can check out my review at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, or you can simply click on the link in the below description. That'll take you there as well. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.